White Ninja was one of the first webcomics that I ever read. It was introduced to me when I was a lot younger from my older brother. I can remember on a painfully slow dial-up internet connection out in a rural country setting, loading up each individual page and trawling through the entire archive that was the White Ninja comic website. It was a sense of humour that had its time and its place, and I don't know if it would be totally appropriate by today's standards, that's for sure. But it would be a total disservice as well for me to say that it didn't help in forming a big chunk of my sense of humour. So in short, it's all White Ninja's fault. Welcome back to a brand new episode of my pills series. That's the People I Like Lots. And basically these pills are medicine for the soul, and I'm sharing these pills with you because there's far too much negativity out there in the world. So I want to focus a little bit on the positive in this series, just for a little bit. So thanks for joining me. Let's jump on into the episode. Now you might be asking yourself, Nick, what is White Ninja? And that is a great question, because if you jump onto www.whiteninjacomics.com, you get redirected to a webcomic named Soper Comics. It's not as good. And if you search for White Ninja on this website, youtube.com, you'll find a whole bunch of clips of Beverly Hill Cop. I know I just said Beverly Hill Cop, but I meant Beverly Hill Ninja. It's normally about 1 AM when I film these, so give me a break, guys. I caught it in editing. Thought I'd correct it here. Back to the video. Which I guess I can see why that comes up, but it's not exactly what we're talking about here today. If you try this other website called Google, then you actually do find some trace residue of the subject matter of this video. White Ninja was a webcomic that existed for pretty much an entire decade, from 2002 all the way up to 2012. In March of 2012, the last regularly scheduled update for the comic posted, and then after that it kind of went into radio silence for a little while. In 2013, the first post in over a year, the website updated with a simple news update that officially stated that they were on a hiatus and that they would be coming back soon. Unfortunately, there were only 2 other comics posted after that in 2014 before updates stopped altogether and the comic pretty much blinked out of existence. As a returning fan, it almost felt like I was digging into a Mandela effect when I was searching for the comic. Just recently, I went on to Google and obviously found Beverly Hills Cop as the first return results. Searching for the URL, I found that Soper comic that I mentioned earlier. It felt like I was going crazy because it seemed like the comic just didn't exist anymore. But some residue does in fact remain out there on the internet in the form of Facebook fan pages, as well as image albums. There's actually some physical copies of the comics out there that you can get your hands on if you're willing to look them up. The creators, Scott Bevan and Kent Earl, they actually published books between 2008 to 2010. There are 3 of the books that are out there. I only have 2 because I never saw the 3rd one before I sort of switched off from the comic, and to get it now on Amazon it's like $50, so I'm not going to buy it. I've read all the comics, but it's there if you want to get it. These books were published around the time that White Ninja was really booming and gaining popularity before he suddenly disappeared. At its height, the site hosted over 1,300 comics of White Ninja. Today, only a small trace amount of these original works remain. So what happened? How did a comic with such a cult following like White Ninja suddenly disappear? The decline in White Ninja comics began around 2008, which is when the world got hit by the global financial crisis. Now, a lot of people are aligning the fact that this crisis would have affected customers' ability to purchase merchandise from the White Ninja store, thereby affecting the revenue made by Scott and Kent, because that was the lifeblood of webcomics at the time. Now, without that sustainable income, they would have had to go and find more traditional jobs rather than jobs that allowed them to create this work of art that was White Ninja. Now that makes perfect sense, and I support that as being one of the causes, but I also can't help notice the trend that 2008 was around the time that they struck a deal with a website called Cracked.com to deliver weekly comics to that website as well. And this is where we start to see a bit of a divide in the White Ninja fan base. You'd think that exposure to a bigger audience like the one that was garnered around Cracked.com would be a big thing, but for some reason or another, the Cracked crowd really hated White Ninja. I don't really know what they were expecting in hindsight, to be honest. I mean, if you look at the Cracked audience, this is a group of people who frequent a website that has to make periodic lists of where the comedy is in media and other such things and explain where the top 10 jokes were. So it's kind of easy to understand that these people would miss the nuances and the comedy styles that was White Ninja. But needless to say, they did not appreciate the comic at all. So I think that the pressure of all this noise from the cracked audience really started to get under the skin of Scott and Kent. And you might say that they started to crack under the pressure. Hey? No? Okay. But basically, I started to notice a change in the narrative of these White Ninja comics. Now, that's hard to say because not any one of these comics are ever the same, but change they did. It was a different type of humour. It wasn't what I was used to, and as a reader, I got used to actually ignoring those comics, treating them as non-canon, as some weird branch that existed for contractual reasons rather than creative reasons, and I stuck with the regular updates on whiteninjacomics.com. So yeah, I think that might be the main reason that the comic eventually dwindled out of existence, the pressure of writing to meet the needs of an audience that wasn't organically grown around the comic. It may have jarred the creativity bones of Scott and Kent, so that's why I theorize it stopped, potentially mixed with reason A of the global financial crisis. I realize I've spoken a lot about why this comic doesn't exist anymore, and not so much about what makes it great, which is the positive that I'm trying to talk about here today. So the positives. I mean, I think the thing I like the most about White Ninja is that he's a white ninja, but in the context of the comics, it's never canon that he has to be a ninja. That's the sort of tokenized version of him in these situations and events. So you as a reader have to expect that he could be anything. He could be a child, a grandparent, a dog, a bounty hunter, an obnoxious office employee, colleague. The sky's the limit, and I really appreciate the fact that he's just a ninja. And you know, if you want to dig really deep into it, he could be a ninja that's in disguise as one of these things as well, if you want to get really existential on it. It's just crazy good fun. At the time it was released, I think it was really appreciated by people just to lighten their day. It didn't need to make sense. It didn't need to have a canon to it. It was just White Ninja. And I think the best way I can probably describe it from here without sounding like I'm repeating myself is I'll just put a couple of my favourite strips that I can find up here, and then we'll get to the end part of this video. Nice bunny slippers, where did you get them? Earlier. Gotcha. I'll give you $5 for those slippers.
Daddy, I made you a Father's Day card. Daddy, you are a wise man. You are a janitor.
Do you mind if I laminate this and keep it forever? Sorry, honey. Daddy thought his hand turned into a card for a second there. Your Honour, my client would like to remind the court that he cannot practically be punished for the crimes he is charged with because he's a ghost. That's a good one.
Daddy, it's hot out. We need a swimming pool.
Do you think swimming pools grow on trees? Go sit in the cooler and try not to make my drinks warm. I only have one umbrella to shade my cool drinks from the sun's harsh rays.
Hello, I am your fairy godmother. Do you want to race? I'll race you to that tree over there. I'm totally beating you. You stink. Your fairy godmother. Do you want to race?
I thought this one was quite poignant. It's called The Death of White Ninja. I still can't believe he's gone. I'm sorry, gentlemen, but we need to go over this will. Eddie, it says that you get all of the deceased's big game hunting gear and rings of power. Carl, you also go to Eddie. As for his ashes, White Ninja wants Carl to eat them up, and then the empty jar goes to you, Eddie. This was just a really small sample of some of my favourite comics. There are a ton more that, as I was researching into this to find examples that I'd want to read to you guys, that I just absolutely adore and I wanted to show you, but it'd make this video too long, so I'm just putting them up here now. If you want to, you can come back and pause the video and read them at your leisure, but it's just too much to put into the video, so we'll jump back to the main part of the story now and wrap this up. But thank you very much for watching so far and sharing some of these memories with me. So those were some of the best comics from the golden age of White Ninja, back when he published the first book, which is I Am White Ninja and You Are My Pickle Sidekick. Classic. But sadly after that the quality of the comics started to decline, and then, as you all know, what happened after that was the hiatus struck. They stopped making comics at all, and it kind of almost seemingly disappeared out of our lives forever, or so it would seem. That was not the end of White Ninja, no. First of all, there was this fan-made meme that circulated in the 2015 Super Bowl. It was a meme featuring White Ninja, and it was urging the Patriots to beat the Falcons in what had been so far a lackluster game. Luckily they pulled through, and this also wasn't the last we heard of White Ninja either. There were whispers, and then there were rumours, and then there were just full-on announcements that White Ninja was coming back. The creators of White Ninja were working on bringing the once-loved comic back in the form of animated shorts. This started to pick up a lot of steam. They even got this guy over here to voice White Ninja. They wrote, produced and released 53 animated shorts on the indomitable and unbreakable platform of the internet known as Vine. Oh, so that didn't really go anywhere, unfortunately. White Ninja and his creators were some of the people that I like lots. They really brightened up my day. Well, they brightened up my Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, which was their usual publishing day, but regardless, it's kind of sad now to think that that is gone forever. That's like another chunk of my childhood dissolved into the mists of time that I'll never truly get back in the way it was. That is, of course, if White Ninja has truly disappeared. I mean, who knows? He might be doing what ninjas do best, just waiting, just out of eyesight, in the shadows. Waiting for the right time to emerge. That's what I like to think anyway. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this episode. I've been Unoriginic. Normally what I like to do here is I like to leave a link to the channel that I'm promoting or something to go and explore further for yourselves, but obviously White Ninja is only available in the form of a $53 book on Amazon, so I don't recommend doing that. Save your money for something more important. What I will do is I'm going to link another channel here called KiwiCast, which is a charity group that I've just recently joined up with. We're working on bringing some live streams for charity events within New Zealand, but you can watch the world over. We don't have a regular schedule yet. We're still working out the kinks, getting the group together. It's very much like Nick Fury in the Avengers at this stage, way back at the beginning of The Incredible Hulk. So we're trying to get Ed Norton, but he hasn't signed on. Yeah. Jump in there. You can catch some of the stuff from what they did way back in 2014. I helped edit and put together some highlight reels, which I'll leave linked as videos, I guess, here. Well, I'll do one because I also want to promote the last video I did here, which was the best grandpa on YouTube, Esophagus, from the last episode I did. And stay tuned. Another episode of The Pills is coming as soon as I can think of someone worthy to shout out. That's all from me. Have a good one. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you guys again real soon.